I promise, I promise, I promise. Once I get my laptop back, we will be doing these live shows more consistently. Y'all know the story. The charging port went down. Still waiting for my laptop to get back, and I put out a lot of videos right now in a day. So my phone takes up a lot of charge just because of my channel. On top of that, on top of that, the charging port for the phone has that what's it called, the moisture detector thing, and once that goes off, you can't fix it. Even if you put it in rice, whatever fix you can think of, it's not gonna work. So yeah, the live shows have suffered because of this, but I'm trying to get them in as much as possible tonight. Yep, my phone has enough charge, so let's do a live show. Hopefully we can do more of these because I really love these live shows. I like the interactions. Yeah, the interactions in the regular videos are cool, but it's not in real time. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're going back and reading what somebody has said, like 2 hours. This guy said this 2 hours ago. This guy said that 8 minutes ago, 12 minutes ago. Whatever. Here, I can see your comments as they're scrolling, and I think we have a good time in our live shows. How is everybody doing? It is hump day. It is hump day, right? Today is Wednesday. My days run together, guys. Every day's the same. I think today is hump day, and tomorrow's gonna be Thursday. So, how's hump day for everybody? So far, so good for me. Appreciate everybody stopping by to see the live show, and those of you that are watching the replay, I also appreciate you guys watching the replay of the live show as well. Everything helps the video. So a quick reminder, speaking of that, quick reminder before we go any further, everybody watching, please hit the like button. Even if you're watching the replay, if you hit the like button, it still helps this video hit the YouTube algorithm, gets it suggested more, and that's how we grow our audience. So if everybody in the comments section will hit the thumbs up right now, we can go to the audience, more trash talk. Hey, that's why we're all here, right? College football, and we'll talk some NFL because my team's still in it. They're still in it. So we'll talk some NFL, and trash talk is very strongly encouraged, and it helps if you can grow the audience. So y'all hit the like button, please. So yeah, I'm in a pretty good mood today. Not gonna lie, I'm in a pretty good mood. Bengals go on the road and absolutely smash the Bills. I was surprised at how bad we beat the Bills. I really was. Not gonna lie, I expected us to win that game, but I thought it was gonna be closer than that because the Bills, they were a good football team this year. But no, Bengals go on the road and absolutely smash the Bills. Tougher road test coming up, but we did it last year. We'll be going on the road to play the Chiefs. I haven't looked at the line. I think the opening line that was the Chiefs was favored by 1 point, so this is expected to be a close game. I'm hoping that the Bengals can blow it open early. That way, I don't have to stress through the whole thing. But a win's a win. You know, if they win by 3 or if they win by 30, a win is a win. I just don't like stressing throughout the entirety of a football game. So the Bengals are still alive. West Virginia wins a basketball game tonight. They not only win, but they absolutely smash Texas Tech. I believe the final score was 76-61. So I was pretty happy about that. So I'm in a really good mood today. Had a pretty good day sports wise. And isn't that crazy when you think about it? Normal everyday life isn't directly affected unless you're a compulsive gambler by these scores, by these games, by these outcomes. But we are so invested into our teams that it does affect us, especially up here mentally. I'm telling you, and it's not just me. I know. I'm going to say my brother. Won't say his name, but you know who you are if you're watching. One of my brothers, man. When West Virginia loses, that's it. He has a bad week, a bad entire week. Now I'm not to that level yet. Pretty close though. I probably have a bad, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 days, something like that. So it does affect my days, but some people, it affects them severely. I will say this, whenever the Bengals lost in the Super Bowl last year, that one probably affected me for a solid week because I've said this before, but those of you that are new to this channel and don't know who my teams are, obviously West Virginia for college football and college basketball. The NFL, the Cincinnati Bengals, because I was born on this in central West Virginia. Central to the western part of West Virginia is Cincinnati Bengals territory. Eastern part of the state is going to be your Washington fans. and then the northern part of the state is going to be your Pittsburgh Steelers fans. And there's a small little speck up there in the Panhandle near Wheeling. There are a few Browns fans up there. So I was born a Cincinnati fan, both Bengals and the Reds. And then the Knicks for the NBA, the story behind that is in 1998, I really didn't have a team for the NBA, and the New York Knicks became the first 8 seed ever in the history of the NBA to get to the NBA Finals, and I became a Knicks fan in 1998. So, yeah, during my entire lifetime, I have not experienced any, not one, any of my teams winning either a national championship or a world championship. None of my teams. Before you say Cincinnati Reds, I became a Cincinnati Reds fan in '93. That was a good 2 or 3 years after they won their last championship. And the Reds have been good in baseball. They've gotten to the playoffs many, many times. But that's about it. The Bengals got to the Super Bowl, but of course lost. And we all know the story of West Virginia. We've had several undefeated seasons since I've been born. Got to the national championship. Had another chance to get the national championship. We've been pretty good in my lifetime, but for the most part, utter misery. So it's nice to have a good day when all your teams are doing good. You get a nice win. Hopefully, West Virginia basketball can turn it around. Now, on to today's video. I want to talk about every year, from year to year, there's always surprise teams. Oh man, I was not expecting that team to be that good. Oh man, I was not expecting that team to be that bad this year. We have major surprises whenever it comes to teams being much better and teams being much worse. Which, by the way, if you're a new viewer to the channel and you have no idea what's going on, this is a college football YouTube channel. Yes, I'm a West Virginia fan, but I talk all college football, and I'll talk some NFL and some college basketball. So if that's your cup of tea, hit the subscribe button, give us a try, and see how you like it. We do videos every single day, and right now, since we're in the grind season, I'm telling you, it is the grind season. I do multiple videos a day. People just lose interest in college football once the national championship is over. Until probably about late May, it starts getting cranked up again. So, yeah, all the support I can get, and appreciate you guys in the comments section. Everybody hitting the thumbs up, everybody commenting. If you have a direct question or a comment or a troll attempt, you want to make fun of me, hit the super chat button. I'll throw it on the screen, just like you see my golden blued logo right there. Which, by the way, that reminds me, I forget to do this from time to time. There is my address if you want to send something to represent your team. Mini helmet, of course. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and BS you. I do like the mini helmets the most. But it can be anything. It can be a hat, whatever. A hat, a shirt, a sock, whatever. Whatever you want to send to represent your team. In fact, Will Klein sent a body pillow to represent Georgia. I have no idea how I'm going to represent that on the set, but we will definitely try to figure out a way. And once we finish our remodel down to that door right there, we'll be able to put the Pinwheel of Penance. I missed that thing. I think that was a good eye catcher as far as the background goes. So I cannot wait. And I still have them. Hold on. See, I still have all the pennants. So the Pinwheel of Penance will be coming back as soon as the remodel is done. And by the way, before I forget, shout out to Robert Gurney. First of all, he won our championship contest, and then for our bowl contest, the people that picked the bowls and got the most wins, we actually had a two-way tie for third place. Or was it three-way? Hold on, let me count this. No, we had a three-way tie for third place. So shout out to Alan Aaron, shout out to Matthew Skidmore, and shout out to Charlie Wood. You guys were the third place winners, and you got your shout out. And the second place winners were LSU number 1, 2019 DJB and Jason Rawlinson. You guys will receive a signed golden blued flat bill hat. But the person that won was so weird. I think it's just this email, firefighter1218@gmail.com. First place, $50 all yours, buddy. If y'all are interested in our contest, all you have to do is head on over to our Patreon page. We have contests every single month. We're going to start the free Patreon drawing in February. Every month, I will pay a Patreon's membership, and it has to reach at least $10. So we keep drawing until we hit $10. But for this year, I do have a few teams in mind that I think that are going to surprise most people, but they're not going to surprise me. I think there's going to be some teams that are going to be much better than what a lot of people think. They're going to be like, what? I did not see that team being that good. They were bad last year, and I think there's going to be some really good teams that take a massive step backwards that people are going to be like, whoa, man, I didn't realize they were going to be that bad. The first team I want to mention, I think this team is on everybody's mind because of what has happened in the offseason. So I'm going to start off with a team that I think is going to be much, much better this year. And we're going to take a trip over to the Pac-12. You already know who I'm going to say, and that's Colorado. Here's the thing. Yes, I think Colorado will be a much better team, but that's not saying much. Colorado was a terrible, terrible team. And by the way, y'all let me know in the comments section who you think will be much better or much worse in 2023. I know it's early, but it's fun talking about it. So, yes, give me your opinions. Colorado, huge, huge, huge expectations with Deion Sanders coming in. A lot of people are like, that stress might get to him. Listen, if there's one thing about Deion Sanders you can say, it's he thrives under pressure. I don't think that he's going to fold under the pressure that he's in. And he is in some pressure at Colorado. But last year they went 1-11. So, I mean, literally 2-10 would be better than last year. But it's going to be much better than that. I think Colorado gets to a bowl. This is my hot in Colorado, all right, guys? I think Colorado gets to a bowl and has, let's see, finishes the season ranked. That's what I was trying to think of. So, hot take for Colorado. I think Colorado is going to get to a bowl, and I think Colorado will finish ranked. So, I'm thinking in the neighborhood of maybe a final record of either, I don't know, let's say 9-4 or 8-5, something like that. Barely enough to finish in the top 25, and they will get to a bowl. I think Deion Sanders is a good head coach. I know he still has to prove his worth in the Power 5. We haven't seen what he can do in the Power 5. But, I mean, literally, within the first 24 hours of him being hired at Colorado, I mean, a massive influx of talent was contacting Colorado. Even one of our players went over there to Colorado. I think it was Taj Austin. He's going to play for Colorado next year. So he's gone around and picked off a lot of teams. Charles Huff, the Marshall head coach, kind of accused him of tampering, saying that he tried to talk with the guy after he signed with Marshall. But honestly, he talked to the guy before he signed with Marshall, so he was actually within the rules. But he's out there. Deion Sanders is out there hustling for players, and he has the players. This is not going to be the same Colorado that we saw last year. If you were one of the unlucky few that got to watch a Colorado game, it was bad. Let's see, what game did I get to see? I think it was Colorado TCU. I think that was the game. And it looked like a high school team versus an NFL team. I mean, the speed, the quickness, and the athleticism and the size was just noticeable. It was very, very noticeable. I felt like Colorado should have forfeited the season. I felt bad for the players on the field. I mean, that they were just outsized and out everything. They shouldn't have been playing football this year. That was not a football team that they fielded. This year, they have talent, guys. I'm telling you right now, they have talent. And I know the quarterback will be his son, but his son is a good quarterback. I think he's rated as a high-end 4-star quarterback. So, yes, Colorado is going to have a quarterback, and Colorado is going to be much, much better. So I'm calling it either 9-4, 8-5, finishing in the top 25 and getting to a bowl. That's going to be a nice surprise in the Pac-12. I saw somebody mention South Carolina in the comments. I like South Carolina this year. As far as a surprise team, I don't know how much of a surprise it would be. I think they'll be maybe 1 or 2 wins better than what they were this year. So I wouldn't necessarily say that they were going to be a surprise team because, I mean, they were pretty good last year. They finished 8-5. They finished ranked in the top 25. I think it's going to be similar this year. I think they have a chance to get to a double-digit win season. I think they'll get to a bowl once again easily. And South Carolina can finish in the top 20, top 15 in 2023. I think the Gamecocks are going to be a good football team. But as far as a surprise team, I wouldn't say surprise team unless there are some people that are just totally discounting what they did this year and not believing what they saw with their eyes. And I know, those last 2 wins kind of helped boast their record a lot. Had they not won those 2 improbable wins, then we'd be looking at a 6-6 finish instead of 8-4 finish. But you know what? They won those 2 games, and they did go 8-4, and they finished top 25. That's a good football team. Good football team, and they're going to be a little bit better this year. Surprise team? No. I think the surprise team in the SEC East, I think there's going to be 2 surprise teams. One bad, one good. The good team, I think, is going to be Missouri. Missouri had a good defense. A lot of those guys are coming back on that defense, so I think the defense is going to be solid. And I think the offense takes a step forward this year. Missouri finished 6-7. I like how their schedule sets up. It's still tough, not going to lie, it's still tough, but I think it's manageable. I think Missouri could be looking at a 8-4, 9-3 type of season. Last year they went 6-7, finished next to last in the SEC East. I think Missouri could jump to as high as 3rd. I'm thinking I want to go with 4th because I still think Tennessee will finish above Missouri. But it wouldn't surprise me. Listen to me, guys. It wouldn't surprise me if Missouri did finish above Tennessee because I don't think that Tennessee is going to be quite as good as what they were this year. Hendon Hooker gone. That's going to hurt. It is. The defense, I'm not sure. A lot of questions on defense. The defense was not their strong suit this year. It was most definitely their offense. The number 1 ranked offense in the nation whenever it came to points per game. I think that offense takes a slight step backwards. Still a good offense. Do not get me wrong, Tennessee fans. They will still have a good offense, just not quite as good as last year's. That's all I'm saying. I think Tennessee could drop down to either 9-3 or 8-4. I think once again it will be between Tennessee and South Carolina for that 2nd spot. I think South Carolina does have enough to jump Tennessee into that 2nd spot, but we'll see how much Tennessee drops and how much South Carolina improves. And Missouri is going to be in the mix too. Georgia. I still think Georgia is going to win the SEC East, but I think Georgia is going to miss Stetson Bennett more than Georgia fans want to admit. Stetson Bennett has been a staple over there at Georgia. Georgia's defense is going to be elite again, for sure. Yes, one of the best defenses in the nation again. But they will be breaking in a new quarterback. The new quarterback did look decent, but in garbage time against TCU, so it wasn't that much pressure. This year, he's going to have a lot of pressure. Georgia's going to try to make history with the 3-peat. Georgia, think about this. Georgia went from, oh, man, it's been over 40 years since winning a national championship. Now they're in the position of possibly making history with the 3-peat. And I think Georgia will be 1 quarterback away from winning another national championship. 1 quarterback away. Now, having said that, I do think they win the SEC East. I do think they get to the SEC championship, but I don't think they win the SEC, and I don't think they make the playoffs. That's just my opinion. Listen, I'm wrong sometimes. Maybe I'm wrong on this. I don't know. But it seems to me that Georgia's offense relied heavily on not just the skill set of Stetson Bennett, but the leadership, the confidence. This dude became a legend before our very eyes. Before our very eyes. And it will be missed. That's not the question here. He will be missed. The question is how much? How much? How much will Georgia miss Stetson Bennett? How much is it going to hurt Georgia? How big of a step back will Georgia take? They will take a step back. I mean, that's just how it goes, guys. Doesn't mean Georgia's not going to be a good team. It just means they're not going to be as good as what they were last year. So my hot take on Georgia might surprise some people because I think that they won't make the playoffs. They still win the East, get that SEC championship, but I think that will give them their second loss. I think they pick up another loss in the regular season. Whenever I do my team by team season prediction, we'll figure out what game I think they'll lose. Maybe there's another game on there that I'm not seeing. But right now I'm going with one and then losing the SEC championship, and that knocks them out of the playoffs. They're going to be kind of like the Alabama of 2022. Alabama was a really good team. And actually, at the end of the season, Alabama could argue that they were one of the four best teams in the nation. They actually got better as the season went on, but the early part of the season really hurt Alabama and kept them out of the playoffs. This year, I think that could happen to Georgia, except they get knocked out because they pick up their second loss in the SEC championship. Still in the East, still get at the championship as far as the SEC goes, but you miss the playoffs. That's what I think. Vanderbilt making a bowl, I see in the comments section. There's a chance. There is a chance. But I think didn't Mike Wright transfer their quarterback? If that's the case, that's really going to hurt Vanderbilt. It's going to hurt Vanderbilt. And I think Missouri and Florida is going to be better this year. So I don't think Vanderbilt can count on, oh, that's a win, that's a win. I think the SEC East is going to be very, very competitive, except for, and Hillbilly Skeptic is not going to like me for this, Kentucky. Kentucky is going to take a step back. I know you got Devin Leary through the transfer portal, but Will Levis is going to be a good NFL quarterback, and you're also going to miss Chris Rodriguez, and your schedule is not great. So I think Kentucky, I don't want to say Kentucky takes a step back because that would mean missing a bowl. I think they'll be about the same, having a 6-6 type of season, but I think Florida and Missouri will be better. So as far as the standings go, I think Kentucky could fall from 4 down to possibly 6. Still have the same record as they did this year, but because the other teams are better, those teams will have a better record. And so Florida and Missouri could finish above Kentucky. Although I still think Kentucky will finish above Florida because I do not have faith in Florida whatsoever. So I think Kentucky falls down to that 5th spot because Missouri takes a nice jump, can finish 4th, 3rd, something like that. Kentucky falls down to 5, and Florida falls down to 6. Vanderbilt get to a bowl. I just don't see it. Maybe they can beat Florida again because Florida's not going to be good. I have Florida falling 1 spot and Missouri jumping them. And Kentucky still being above Florida, but not having a great season. Vanderbilt getting to a bowl. Not willing to go there yet, guys. Not yet. I don't have faith in Vanderbilt making a bowl. I hope I'm wrong about it too, Hillbilly Skeptic. But from what I'm seeing from Kentucky and the other teams, whenever you're looking at who you think is going to finish where in a particular conference, you don't just look at the team you're predicting, you look at the teams around them. So I think Kentucky's going to be slightly worse than what they were this year, or about the same, but teams around them will be better, except for Florida. They still finish above Florida. It's going to be a battle between Kentucky and Florida for that 5th spot. So excuse me, SEC East rankings. I'm going to go. This is my hot take for the SEC East. I'm going to go Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, Missouri, Kentucky, Florida, Vanderbilt. There's your SEC East. Now for the SEC West, oh man, this is tough. I think Texas A&M is going to surprise a lot of people. Texas A&M has a lot of talent. They just hired a very good offensive coordinator over there at Texas A&M. That's been their biggest problem is the offense. Even though Jimbo is supposed to be an offensive guru, his main problem with the offense is it's too complicated. Okay, you want to run your offense, that's fine. You need an offensive coordinator that can break that down into bite-sized nuggets that the players can eat. And maybe this new offensive coordinator can do that, and we'll see a good offense. So I think Texas A&M is the bounce-back team in the SEC this year. I think they take a tremendous jump in the SEC, like upper half of the SEC. I think Alabama's going to be good once again, but Bryce Young will be gone. Bryce Young will be gone. Huh. But Alabama's Alabama, so Alabama's going to be good. So it's not a bad bet. It's never a bad bet to put Alabama at the top of the SEC West. It just so happened LSU beat them head-to-head, and that's why they finished at the top. As far as LSU goes, no, I don't think they win the SEC West again. I do think they'll be a good team, but I think LSU could fall down to the 3-4 spot. Ole Miss, I'm going to be honest, Ole Miss fans, I don't think you're going to be very good. I just don't. I think ever since Matt Corral left, your offense has taken a step back. I think it will take another step back. Your defense hasn't been reliable at all since Lane Kiffin has been at Ole Miss. So I think this coming year will be the worst year that you see under Ole Miss. But that doesn't mean it's going to be like that forever. I think it could be a season where we saw with Jim Harbaugh, where they lit a fire up under his rear end, and he got to the playoffs 2 years in a row. But I think this particular year, Ole Miss is headed for a fall. Auburn, I don't know. They're a mess right now. Hugh Freeze is the right man for the job to get that thing cleaned up. But man, it's not good. It's going to take him a couple of years. Will they be better than what they were this year? I think so, actually. Auburn fans, I do think you will be better, but don't expect miracles. You're not my big jumper prediction in the SEC West. Arkansas is going to be about the same. They could benefit from Ole Miss and Mississippi State taking a step back. I think Mississippi State, losing Mike Leach in the offseason is definitely going to show in 2023. I think they'll be able to rebound in the future, but it's going to show. So my hot take for the final standings, how I think the SEC West will finish. I'm going to say number 1, Alabama, because that's the safest bet. I just don't have confidence in anybody, winning the West over Alabama. Number 2, right behind Alabama, I'm going to go with Texas A&M. They have the talent, and I think this new offensive coordinator will make that complicated offense more understandable for the players. So 1, Alabama. I'm going to go 2, Texas A&M. 3 is where I'm going to go LSU. So I think LSU is going to be good. They're going to take a slight step backwards. 4, I'm going to go Arkansas. About the same as what they were this year, but they're going to benefit from Mississippi State and Ole Miss taking a step backwards. Arkansas could be an 8-4, 9-3 type of team. 5th place, I'm going to go let's see. Trying to figure out who I'm taking last. That team's going to be last. You can't see. That team's going to be last. And then that team. All right. So 5th place is going to be. I'm going to take Auburn. I think Hugh Freeze does have them in the right direction, not completely back to where they want to be. I'm going to say a set of 5 type of season. So 6th place is going to be Ole Miss, and then 7th is going to be Mississippi State. Sorry, Mississippi State fans, but I think you could miss a bowl this year. Could miss a bowl. It's going to take major adjusting for Mississippi State to get used to being without Mike Leach, because that's the team was built around his philosophy and the type of offense that he liked to run. And even if somebody knows the type of offense that he runs, they're still not Mike Leach. He still has that coach mentality and the reflexes in game. So 1, Alabama, 2, Texas A&M, 3, LSU, 4, Arkansas, 5, Auburn, 6 Ole Miss, and 7 Mississippi State. That's how I see the SEC West. So the big jumper would be Texas A&M, and the biggest faller, Mississippi State. Yeah, Mississippi State falling from third place in the West down to dead last. That's how I see the SEC West. Let's move. Let's get through the Pac-12 real quick. Like I said earlier, I think Colorado is going to be a nice jumper up towards halfway in the middle. I think USC is going to be solid. I think Washington. I think it'll be USC and Washington for the Pac-12 championship. I really, really do. I think Oregon State's going to take a step back. I think this was their year to have a great year. DJ Uiagalelei, my rear end. I don't care. He's not a good quarterback, so do not put all your eggs in the DJ basket because he's going to drop them every time. So I think Oregon State takes a step back. I think Oregon has the potential of taking a step back because I still don't trust Bo Nix, and the schedule is going to be much, much more difficult this year. So I think the two teams that were in the top that are going to fall, Oregon and Oregon State, the two Oregon teams. I don't think Utah is going to win the Pac-12 this year. I think it's going to be between USC and Washington, and I actually like Washington, especially with Michael Penix Jr. coming back. That dude is underrated. Last year they were a win over a bad Arizona State from getting to the Pac-12 championship. And had they think about this, and I did a video on this. Washington beats Arizona State. They get the Pac-12 championship. A one-loss USC versus a one-loss Washington. Winner would be guaranteed to get to a bowl because the winner would only have one loss. So you can blame USC, you can blame Utah, but you can also blame Washington. I think that's going to be a pretty cool looking Pac-12 championship between USC and Washington. I have it locked in as my Pac-12 championship game. Any surprise teams that's going to make a jump? Colorado. That's about it. I think Colorado could jump to as high as the sixth spot, maybe leapfrog UCLA. Even though I do think UCLA will be a good team again, I think Colorado's going to be that good. 8-4, get to a bowl, finish in the top 25. So here we go. My final ranking predictions for the Pac-12 for right now. I'm going to say 1, Washington. I'm going to say Washington wins the Pac-12. I really like what they have coming back. 2 is going to be USC. 3 is going to be Utah. 4 is going to be, let's see, is that where I put? Okay. 4 is going to be Colorado. 5 is going to be UCLA. 6 is going to be Oregon. That's where they fall. 7 will be, wait, did I already say? Let me redo this because I don't remember if I said Colorado. 1 Washington, 2 USC, 3 Utah. There we go. 4, yes, I did. 4 Colorado. 5, who do I go with? UCLA. 6 Oregon. 7, I'm going to go Washington State. 8 Arizona. Arizona's going to be a jumper, guys. Arizona's going to make a bowl. Arizona's going to be a jumper this year. Let's see. And then 9 is going to be Oregon State. 10 is going to be I'll say Arizona State. Arizona State. 11 will be Stanford, and last place will be Cal. Sorry, Cal fans. Let's go to the Big Ten. We have to talk about the Big Ten. Last year, I correctly predicted Michigan State to take a massive step backwards and miss a bowl. What happened? Michigan State took a step backwards and missed a bowl. Do I see that happening for anybody this year? I think the potential is there for Illinois because I think a lot of teams that they are going to be playing are going to be much, much better. So Illinois could take a tumble because I think Wisconsin is going to be better. Luke Fickell will have things starting to turn around. They were a decent team last year. They weren't like dirt bad, but 7-6, that's not good. Wisconsin could be a 9-3 team. And I think Nebraska gets to a bowl. I think Wisconsin and Nebraska being better, I think Minnesota will be the team that wins the West, and Illinois is going to suffer because of that. But they'll still get to a bowl, guys. They'll still get to a bowl. Prediction for the Big Ten West, I'm going to go 1 Minnesota, 2 Wisconsin, yes, 3 Iowa, 4 Nebraska, 5 Purdue, 6 Illinois, and 7 Northwestern. So yeah, both Illinois teams at the bottom of the Big Ten West. Sorry, guys. Big Ten East. Does anything change? Does anything change? Yeah, I think Michigan falls this year. I think the Big Ten East is going to be between Ohio State and Penn State, and it wouldn't shock me if Penn State won the Big Ten East. I don't think Michigan falls far. They're still going to be a good team, 9-3, maybe a double-digit win season. But that top three, I see shuffling. Maybe Ohio State to the top, and then Penn State, and then Michigan. I really like that order. And then below that, I think Michigan State will have a much better year than what they did this year. Maybe they can hit the top three. Maryland's going to be about the same, and both Indiana and Rutgers will still be bad. So not a lot of changes. Not a lot of changes in the Big Ten East. I see the comment about Purdue. I like the hire, but I think it's going to take time. I think Purdue's going to have a decent offense. I just like what Minnesota has, and I like their coaching staff too. I think they're more weathered for a incoming new Ryan Walters for Purdue, which is another reason why I have Illinois falling. Ryan Walters was their defensive coordinator. And what did Illinois survive on by beating teams? Defense. Their offense was terrible. It was all defense. Their defensive coordinator is gone, and that's another reason why I think Illinois is going to take a step backwards. As far as final prediction for the Big Ten East, I'm going to go 1 Ohio State, 2 Penn State, 3 Michigan, 4 Michigan State, 5 Maryland, 6 Indiana, no, 6 Rutgers, 7 Indiana. So a little bit of shuffling, but nothing too surprising. ACC. Here's the thing about the ACC, guys. No divisions. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see the final standings after this college football season and see who the actual top 2 teams are. I mean, I think conferences are starting to figure out ever since they did away with that stupid rule anyways that, yeah, it does make sense. Your 2 best teams need to play in your conference championship. I mean, duh. Why they came up with you got to have 2 divisions if you have 12 or more members to have a conference championship game, I don't know. I'm sure there was an actual reason, but it just doesn't make sense. There's no way you can plan that far ahead and make sure the divisions will always be equal. We've had like the 4th best team in the conference play the best team. That doesn't make sense. Okay? They got to the conference championship because their division was weaker. I hated that. I'm glad they did away with it. So having said that, the schedules are looking much different. Teams aren't going to be playing teams that they usually play every year. I think there's 3 protected games for every team here. So the schedule going to look way, way different. Joey's having a rough day today, guys. He's not feeling great. He'll be back, though. He'll be back. But for the ACC, I think the top's going to remain the same. I think Clemson and Florida State's going to be the cream of the crop. I was a little iffy on Clemson, but they went out and made a great hire with Garrett Riley. That's probably the best hire you could make at offensive coordinator. So I think it's going to be Clemson and Florida State in the ACC championship, and winner gets into the playoffs. Yep, that's what we could be looking at for the ACC, and then people will be saying, hey, the ACC looks strong again. We're good. No conference realignment for us. Not so fast. Not so fast. I still think it's coming. I think those teams exist as far as, voting the ACC into oblivion. Landshark asked me if Ole Miss, do I think Ole Miss will be good? No, actually, I think Ole Miss is going to be not quite as good as what they were this year. And I think it'll be like the Jim Harbaugh type of scenario where a fire gets lit under Lane Kiffin's rear end, and he gets back to being, putting Ole Miss in an elite position. But for 2023, sorry, no, I don't think Ole Miss is going to be very good. But I'm wrong sometimes. I'm wrong sometimes. So take that with a grain of salt. So I'm going to say 1 Clemson, 2 Florida State. They play each other in ACC championship, which I think Florida State has a chance to beat them and get to the playoffs. How about that? Florida State in the playoffs. There's a hot take right there. The 3 spot, very, very interesting. I think the 3 spot, yes, it is kind of predictable. North Carolina, they won Coastal. But Drake May, he's too good of a quarterback to knock North Carolina too far down. So I'm going to say North Carolina at that 3 spot. 4, I'm going to go Louisville. I think Louisville is going to be a much improved team. They could be your jumper, even though they finished 4th in the Atlantic last year. This is without divisions. I think Louisville will finish 4th without divisions. 5th, and it pains me to say this, but Pitt keeps getting decent quarterbacks. Phil Jurkovich from Boston College. So, yes, I think Pitt will finish in the upper half of the ACC, get to a bowl, and finish ranked. But they will lose to West Virginia in the backyard brawl. 6th, I'm going to go with Duke. Duke is going to be good again. That team is really surprising a lot of people. Maybe next year they'll start making believers out of people. 7, I'm going to go with, let's see, 7, 7, 7. Don't like that. Don't like that. Don't like that. Don't like that. I'm going to go with Georgia Tech. How about that? 7th, Georgia Tech getting to a bowl. Yes, I like Georgia Tech getting to a bowl. I know Sims transferred out, but Georgia Tech still was able to beat a high caliber North Carolina without him. So I think Georgia Tech will be fine. They could finish right in the middle and get you to a bowl. Georgia Tech 7-5, get to a bowl. How do you like that? Not finishing in the top 25 though. Behind Georgia Tech, Miami Hurricanes, kind of the same situation. They are better. They do get to a bowl, but not meeting expectations of Miami fans. Last year, I drank the Kool-Aid and predicted Miami to have a 10-win season. I'm not doing that this year. I think it's a 7-5 season. Better than this year. Get to a bowl. That's about it. Behind Miami, I'll go with who do we have left? I'll go with NC State. NC State's going to take a big drop, guys. I just they lose too much on defense, and they don't call it a good offense. They got a good transfer from Virginia as far as the quarterback, but they had a good quarterback with Devin Leary, so I don't think they're going to do much with him. They rely on defense, and the defense is going to take a massive step backwards. I have NC State down around the 8th spot. They're just not going to be that good. They might get to a bowl at 6-6. That's about it. Right behind them, Wake Forest. Same situation. Sam Hartman was Wake Forest. I think they're still explosive enough to get to a bowl. We're talking 6-6. That's it. Massive step backwards for Wake Forest. But behind them, Virginia Tech could be a bowl team. I'm really gambling with that one. They could be, but I think Virginia and Virginia Tech kind of mirror each other. They're still trying to figure out who they are, and they're just trying to get to a bowl. One of those 2 teams will get to a bowl, and the other will not. Bottom of the barrel will be, again, Boston College. They're a terrible team. They're recruiting bottom of the barrel. There's no hope for Boston College next year. Sorry, Boston College fans. I forgot about Syracuse. They're in with the Virginia teams. Big 12. Last conference, guys. Big 12. Yes, I do think Michigan State rebounds, but not back to what they were in 2021. I think they'll go 8-4, 9-3, something like that. But yes, I do agree with that. Big 12. I'm telling you guys, this is going to shock a lot of people. But whenever you see this happen, if you're watching Gold and Blue, dude, don't let it shock you. The biggest shocker of the entire season for most people, even though I see it, honestly, I don't see how most people don't see this. TCU is going to go from getting to the national championship to not getting to a bowl. You heard me correctly. TCU is going to go from a 2-loss, got to a national championship team in 2022 to a 5-7 or 4-8 team in 2023. Why? Well, they didn't have a good defense this year, 91st in points allowed. They're not going to have a good defense next year. They lost a truckload from their offense. They lost their offensive coordinator. They just lost too much. And on top of that, if you look at how TCU won their games last year, they were barely beating people in the regular season. A win is still a win, but they weren't dominating to where you would feel comfortable. Man, this team is so dominating that even if they lost a lot of talent, they would still be good. TCU was not that. They were barely beating teams, and they were having to come back from way too many deficits. Way too many deficits. TCU drops big time. Not going to make a bowl. That's the biggest dropper in the Big 12, maybe in the entire nation, to be honest with you. So who do I have finishing at the top? I think the Big 12 championship will be a Texas affair. I think it'll be Texas versus Texas Tech Red Raiders. Texas is going to be a really good team. As long as Quinn Ewers stays healthy, Texas has a chance to go undefeated. Now, if they don't go undefeated and they pick up a loss, their only loss will be that road loss to Alabama. That's how good Texas will be. I'm telling you. And no, last year I was not on the Texas bandwagon. I predicted correctly 8-4. This year, it's different. They are taking that step forward. Texas is going to be that good. And you know me, guys. This is not the Texas propaganda. It is horns down all day, every day here. But I don't lie. I see what I see. Texas is going to be good. And I think Texas Tech is going to be maybe not as good, but the second best team. Joey McGuire recruiting at an elite level. Quietly, Texas Tech was 8-5 last year. They have a lot coming back, and he's recruiting at a really, for Texas Tech should not have a top 25 recruiting class, but they do. So he's recruiting at a massive elite level at Texas Tech. It's going to be Texas versus Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship. Book it, mark it down. Number 3, I'm going to go with Baylor. Reason is I like all the pieces they have coming back. And if you look at the Baylor from last year, most of their losses were very, very close losses. There was only one loss that really got out of hand. All the other losses were by 9 points or less. And I really trust Dave Aranda. I think Baylor is headed for a bounce back year, possible 10-win season, depending on just how good Texas and Texas A&M and the rest of the Big 12 for that matter. But I think on the verge of a 10-win season. I think Baylor's in for a nice rebound season this year. So I have Texas Tech, Baylor 3, 4 Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma rebounds nicely. They had the number 4 recruiting class this year, highest ever in Oklahoma history since rankings were kept. So I think they rebound. Maybe an 8-4, 9-3 type season. So maybe not the magical rebound that Oklahoma fans want, but you're on your way. And then the next year, watch out, Oklahoma is going to be, the Oklahoma that we remember. I don't think they're going to be quite there yet. I might be wrong. Maybe they have more juice than I'm thinking, but I think Oklahoma is going to finish at number 4, and that's still really good, especially compared to this year. Number 5, I'm going to go Kansas State. I still think they're going to be a good team, but they're not going to be my dark horse like they were last year. Remember, guys? I told y'all I had Kansas State as my dark horse Big 12 champion. That's exactly what happened. I don't see that happening this year. They're going to have a good quarterback, but I think the defense is going to have some issues this year, and the schedule is a little bit tougher. 6th spot, I'm going to go with Kansas. Yeah, I'm going to go with Kansas. I think Kansas has the potential of finishing 8-4. It's going to be between 6-6 and 8-4. Ceiling could be 9-3, but that's ceiling. So I'm going to go in between ceiling and basement. I'm going to go 8-4. But this league is so competitive, and those other teams are going to be so good. It might not be good enough to get past that 5 or 6 spot. So Kansas is going to be good. Kansas is going to get back to a bowl, and Kansas is going to give people issues again. This is 1, 2, 3. All right, so we're at the 7th spot. I'll go with West Virginia just because I think we're going to go back to the spread offense, and that's what we have success under. I still don't like our defense, though. If we had a better defense, then maybe I would predict West Virginia a little bit higher, but I don't see anything that gives me confidence to say that West Virginia is going to have a better defense. So I think West Virginia goes 5-7, from 5-7 to 6-6. And the only win that I'm really flipping is Pitt. So beating Pitt in the backyard brawl gets West Virginia to a bowl. That's it. We still finish in the bottom of the Big 12 or near the bottom. The 8th spot I'm going to give to who do we have left? The 8th spot I'm going to give to TCU. So TCU finishing 5-7, possibly 4-8 if the wheels completely come off. But not getting to a bowl, finishing in the bottom half, but not last place. I don't have them in last place, but taking a significant tumble. And then 9th place, you know what? Dadgummit, I forgot about the 4 teams coming in. I forgot about Houston, Cincinnati, BYU, and UCF. So quick off the hip, I think Houston's going to finish bottom of the barrel. Bad, miss a bowl. Let's see. BYU is probably going to be right in the middle. I'm going to say 7-5, 8-4 type of season, so they could be looking at 6th or 7th place. UCF, I think UCF's going to miss a bowl in their first year. I think Gus Malzahn, even though he has success in the Power 5 at Auburn, he had Power 5 talent. I don't think UCF has Power 5 talent just yet. So I think UCF barely misses a bowl. I think same situation. It's live TV, guys. With Cincinnati, Luke Fickell gone. That's really going to hurt Cincinnati. So I think UCF, Houston, and Cincinnati miss a bowl, and that's going to get people chirping. Oh man, 3 of the 4 new members miss a bowl. Yeah, I know, but they have to get adjusted and used to things. So I don't think that's a long stretch. I think that's they're just getting in. They don't have Power 5 talent yet, but they're now in the Big 12, so they will be able to start recruiting at the Big 12 level. But dead last. Oh man, guys. Whew. Oklahoma State is in for a tumble, Royal Rumble. It's not good, guys. So they vastly underperformed last year. They started off the season good. They had a good start to the season, but they finished the season bad, really bad. They ended the season, the regular season, by losing to West Virginia at home. How does that happen? Not good. And then in the offseason, transfer portal, a mass exodus in the transfer portal. Oklahoma State is going to be really, really bad unless some things happen in the transfer portal and they can replace all that talent. It's going to be bad, guys. In the comment section, will y'all answer me a quick question? I'm not asking anybody to super chat, just asking. Is the option there? Is the little dollar sign down on the bottom right hand corner under the comment section? Sometimes on these live videos, for whatever reason, I don't know if I set it up wrong or something, but sometimes the super chat option is not even available. Just look on your bottom right hand corner, and if there's a little dollar sign, just give me a okay. Yes, we do have it. Just making sure. Thank you. But as far as Mike Gundy, yeah, he's on the hot seat. Very much so. It's going to be burning hot. In fact, he might be in the hot seat mid-season, and he might get fired at the end of the season. I'm telling you, it does not look good for Oklahoma State. And Oklahoma State has too much money to be going 7-6 last year, and then next year. I mean, this is going to sound crazy, guys. 3-9, 4-8. It's going to be bad, guys. It's going to be really bad. I don't see. Maybe they can beat an Iowa State, but other than that, they're not going to beat TCU. TCU, as big of a tumble as they take, no, they're not going to beat them. Kansas State, no. Texas, no. Texas Tech, no. Baylor, no. Oklahoma, no. Kansas, no. West Virginia, no. It's in Morgantown. No, they're not beating West Virginia. Houston, no. I think Houston's going to have way too good of an offense for Oklahoma State. I don't have Houston making a bowl, but if they're playing, I don't know the schedule. That's a whole different story. I'm hearing that Oklahoma and Texas are holding up the Big 12 and the SEC. They're still trying to get in the SEC by 2023, and that's why the schedule's not out. So who knows? But I'm saying if Houston played Oklahoma State, I don't think Houston gets to a bowl. But that head to head, Houston wins because they do have the better offense. Cincinnati wins in Cincinnati. In Oklahoma State, I still think Cincinnati wins. UCF wins. BYU wins. I don't see many teams in the Big 12 that uh, that Oklahoma State's going to beat. It's just he had talent last year too. 7-6. He finished the regular season 7-5 with that loss to West Virginia. With as much talent as he had on offense, there is no excuse for how bad that offense was. And then on top of that, the good talent that he did have left. They are out of here. So the big faller for the Big 12 is going to be one TCU and two Oklahoma State. TCU will be the bigger faller because they finished at the top. But as far as who will be worse, Oklahoma State will be worse. And it wouldn't surprise me if TCU made a bowl. I just think they're going to be on the fringe, like 6-6, 5-7, 6-6, 5-7. They are going to take a massive step backwards. So we'll see about that. Anyways, those are my hot takes for who I think will be the biggest surprises as far as who's going to be really, really good. They were bad this year, going to be really, really good. And the teams that I think are going to be really, really bad. They were good last year, and they were really, really bad, and they're going to be really, really bad this year. Y'all let me know in the comments section what you think. I know I saw people agreeing with me about Oklahoma State. Let's see. I do agree that I don't know, the AAC teams joining as far as strength of schedule and getting wins that maybe you might not get otherwise could be good for Oklahoma. Doesn't help with the strength of schedule at all. So if you go back and look at the strength of schedule for other Big 12 teams, the easiest schedule was 29th, and it was Oklahoma State. We're going to see those strength of schedules drop with Cincinnati, BYU, UCF, and Houston coming in. And then on top of that, with Oklahoma and Texas leaving, it's going to drop even further. So brace yourself, Big 12 fans. Your strength of schedule is going to drop significantly once the four teams are in and Oklahoma and Texas are out. You can take that as a good, as in, hey, we can get more wins in. Or you can take it as a bad, as in, now we're going to get disrespected because our strength of schedule is going to look like the ACC. So there's a good and a bad for all that. Oh, by the way, merchandise store is coming soon. We have all the stuff needed to make the merchandise. We're not going through a store like we did last time. That way, we can make the prices reasonable. Because whenever we went through a store, their prices were so high. Just to make a little bit of profit, the prices were ridiculous. So we decided to do our own merchandise store. We have our own supplier that we can buy in bulk and all that stuff, how you make it, and we have people that know how to make it. So we're going to be able to make it for you and sell it to you for cheaper. So not only will you be buying Gold and Blue Dude merch, but you will be buying Gold and Blue Dude merch made by Gold and Blue Dude. I mean, we're going to have Gold and Blue Dude tags. It's going to say Gold. It's not going to say, Gold and Blue Dude into the tag Nike or Champs. Or what, no, the tag's it's going to be the Gold and Blue Dude brand. So whenever we get that up, we will let you know. Best conference from top to bottom in 2023. I think that's going to be well, let's rule some out. I don't think it's going. Well, you know what? This is going to sound nuts. It could be the Pac-12. Bear with me. It could be the Pac-12. ACC, I don't think so. SEC, of course, they're always going to have an argument. They're always one of the best. Big 12, I think, takes a step back as a whole. Big 10 is very, very top heavy. But as far as top to bottom, I think the Pac-12 is going to have an argument because you look at how they finished this year. I mean, it was somewhat top heavy because you had one, two, three, four. You had 5 teams finish with 10 wins, and then UCLA finished with 9, and then Washington State finished 7-6. I think the Pac-12 is going to be very, very strong before the last hurrah whenever USC and UCLA leave. Chip Kelly is not getting the praise that he deserves over there at UCLA. That dude keeps building, and I told everybody that UCLA had a chance to have a 10-win season before the 2022 season, and everybody's like, "Are you nuts?" No. In 2021, they went 8-4, and he basically had everybody coming back. So why would they not be better? And had they beaten Pitt like they were supposed to, they would have had a 10-win season. So watch out for the Pac-12. And I think the Pac-12 has a real shot of making the playoffs. I think the ACC does too. I think it's going to be so conference championships. Let's run them down before we get out of here. SEC, I think it's going to be Georgia versus Alabama. I know, predictable. Alabama beating Georgia. Big Ten, I have Ohio State versus Minnesota with Ohio State winning. In the Pac-12, I have USC versus Washington with Washington winning and Washington possibly getting to the playoffs. Big 12, I have Texas versus Texas Tech. If Texas wins with 1 loss or less, Big 12 has a chance to get back in. And for the ACC, I have Clemson versus Florida State. And, of course, if either of those 2 teams have 1 loss or undefeated, they have a chance to make the playoffs as well. I think the playoffs are going to be much more interesting as far as who makes it and who gets left out. I think it's going to be much tighter. This year, the playoff committee had the benefit of the doubt of USC wins, they're in. If they lose, Ohio State was in. It was easy as that. I think this year we're going to have multiple conference champions finish either undefeated or 1 loss. So I think the playoff picture is going to be crazy. Crazy, guys. Crazy. So keep your eyes out for the playoffs next year as far as, the decision making that's going to be had to be made. It's going to be crazy, guys. Anyways, gotta bounce, guys. It's getting a little late. The whole school routine. Hopefully I'll be able to do one Friday night and we'll be able to go a little bit longer because no school routine on Saturday. Yeah, guys, I'm not feeling all that great. A lot of people caught that. I tried to cover it up, but I guess you guys could tell I was feeling a little sick. But appreciate everybody stopping by, supporting the channel. Make sure to hit the thumbs up on the way out. Still helps the video hit the YouTube algorithm, helps us get views. And, that's what keeps us going. A lot of YouTubers want to act like, it's just for fun and this and that. No, to do this full time, you have to make money. So all the comments, all the likes, all the super chats, all that stuff, especially in the off season, aka the grind season, all that stuff helps us full-time YouTubers keep going. So just keep hitting the thumbs up and keep supporting the channel, and we greatly appreciate it. Anyways, y'all have a happy rest of your hump day, and we'll try to do another live show tomorrow. Just depends on the charge of my phone. Still waiting on my laptop to get back. But until then, y'all have a good night, and keep an eye out for the regular videos tomorrow. We're going to have about 2 or 3 again.